Good people, welcome to the Maize and Blue review. We are here after the Michigan State game is actually wrapping up right now. Michigan State wins 37-33. Crazy comeback in the second half. Kenneth Walker, I think, ended up with 5 touchdowns in the game, and it just, I mean, I'll say it. From the outside looking in, it just a complete meltdown as far as Michigan. You go into the half 24-13 or no 24-15.
23-14.
23-14. I'm sorry. But you go in half up by 9 and you end up, losing this game by 4. You end up in the second half scoring 10 points and you give up 24. Just not the brand of football that Michigan is used to playing. That defense usually plays well. They played really well in the first half and second half. I think it was almost reciprocal of the first half where they played well overall outside of, a handful of plays. And it's just tough. But, they end up losing and, I'll kick it off to you, my friend. What are your thoughts on the game?
Well, it's really fresh, as you know. You could say meltdown. That's fine, but you also you do have to give credit to MSU, and I have plenty to say about my own team, and I will. But I don't want to hear anything about the refs, guys. Look, that's football. That is sports. Especially when you play road games. And it's not a team that plays on the road that if they're on the losing end, doesn't have some kind of gripe about calls, okay? That happens. All right? If you think I'm lying, asking the other fan base that has a road game. It is what it is. And you also have to give credit to MSU for this too. The relentless fight in that team to go down. What was it, 30-14, mid third quarter. And by all means, you texted to me, and I thought so too. I thought that was a knockout punch. I really did. Or they were damn close. And for them to fight back and not allow themselves to wilt under that is fantastic. And as much as it hurts for us guys as Michigan fans, you also have to recognize the opposition's the things they have done well, and they fought. This was a haymaker fight, and they threw the last punch. This is what it is, right? So, and it hurts. It really does. And it goes back to, in terms of Michigan, we played well. I thought Cade overall, played a really good game. His best game as a Wolverine.
From start to finish, Cade was absolutely dialed in.
That last interception, it wasn't a bad throw. I mean, it's a really good play by the defense. I mean, the tight end, I think it was all he was open. I mean, it was a good play. I mean, like that happens. It's tough. But Cade played a really good game, man. He played a really good game.
But even on that last play, what I'll go back to is coaching, man. Like the play calling wasn't great on that drive, last drive when you needed it. And the unfortunate part is we have talked about it time and time again of game reps in the pass game. Mm-hmm. We've talked about it so many times, and it got to a point where we just stopped talking about it because it wasn't going to change, right? We talked about it against the opening game. I believe it was Western. We talked about it that game. We felt like Cade should have had more reps and whatever the case may be. But in this game, Cade was dialed in from start to finish. There was no drop off.
He outplayed Payne Thorne, in my opinion.
Without a doubt. I mean, Payne Thorne had 2 interceptions, and if I'm not mistaken, did he throw a touchdown? I don't think he threw a touchdown today.
No, it was all Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Cade was dialed in, and the unfortunate part to me was, we talked about it at the halftime show, was, having JJ come in. I'm like, I would prefer not, because you got a quarterback who's at Steph Curry, like on fire. Like, so leave him in. Like, that's the thing. Would you ever pull Steph out for Clay and just be like, hey, let's give Clay some run? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's probably not a great analogy, but nonetheless, like, you have a guy who's dialed in,
Feed
who
the high
is
hand
in the zone, and you're pulling him out. And JJ has had, and I'm not trying to pile on to the guy because he's a freshman. Like, he's young. You
man.
get out there,
it's tough.
you get limited plays. You want to make a play.
Yeah.
So when you get limited snaps, you want to make a play. But he's done this in the past where he's made poor run reads, where he's trying to keep the ball where he shouldn't. And, previously it hasn't been a disaster. But today it turned into fumbles. Like the first fumble he had that, thank goodness, went out of bounds. He had no business keeping that football. He should have given the ball away to your running back, your collectively Heisman Trophy, candidate running back room. And then the second one is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. When you cannot have a turnover, you put in JJ to try to be cute or to play towards his ego, whatever the case may be. And this is the result. This is the result.
And the issue I have is, like it made no sense. JJ just fumbled, the previous possession, led right to a touchdown for MSU taking the ball. MSU, scoring a touchdown, going up 37-33. Or maybe I'm sorry. No, they didn't score on that drive. That was the first fumble. Michigan kicks a field goal, goes up 33-30. MSU gets the ball, and Michigan forces to stop. And then Michigan, I think it has at the 50-yard line or something like that, or maybe in their territory. And JJ starts off that series after almost fumbling. He did fumble, but fumbling the previous series, and he fumbles right away. And it made no sense whatsoever. And
and to me, like, sorry to cut you off, but there was no lull period where Cade wasn't playing well. Like, that's the frustrating part. Like, it's not as if, hey, he's missed his last 5 passes. Let's see if JJ can get us a spark. Cade was on the entire game.
Yeah.
He was on the whole entire game.
Yeah,
like, there was no, even in the first half, there was no reason to put JJ in the game. There was none. Like, outside of before the game, that the plan is just on our third drive, we're going to put in JJ. Like, outside of that, there was no reason to put him in the game.
Yeah. No, and then you saw, like, tweets about Cade possibly being in medical tent. But here's why I can't give that an excuse, because if Cade was able to go out there literally the very next series, they should have enough wherewithal of, like, okay, Cade, maybe we need to check some things out real quick. Obviously, it wasn't serious. Maybe they wanted to check something out. I don't know, right? If that's the case, if that really did happen, there should have been an extremely conservative play. I don't know, man. That's tough. And
to me, I mean, on one side, I'd like to say because of hindsight, right? In hindsight, I'd like to say you call a timeout and get Cade back in. But at the same time, too, like, to think about, JJ has played. He's had a lot of game reps. Yeah. So it's not as if, this is a guy who's never been in the game. Like, he's had a lot of reps in the games, in games that are meaningful. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not as if this is a guy who's, a Bowman who's really never played any meaningful snaps here at Michigan. Like, JJ's done that. Like, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Just a comment that I just saw that I wanted to address, because Paulie say easy to say in hindsight not to rotate JJ in. No. Hey, I'm not saying JJ should not have played the rest of the game. I just believe that literally, the series before, when you kicked the field goal, he fumbled.
He fumbled that.
The ball. Like, literally, that was his last time touching the football. He fumbled. And then they took him out, and then Michigan proceeds to kick a field goal. And he goes right back out. It's not like he fumbled the football, and in that same series, he got it back, and he did one more thing to kind of get that out of his mind, right? That was literally his last play. So he's a true freshman, man. By no means, Michigan fans, I'm not saying any people here would do it. Don't crush this kid. He's 18, 19 years old. He's young. That's a very, very, very tough situation to be in, right? And he's going to learn and grow from this. I just thought, and Des, you hit on it many times, the way Cade played today is one of those situations where you got to ride the high hand and just let him go. and people are going to be all on JJ now and calling, probably saying some things that are just so unfair. And the only reason I'm very protective of him right now because he is a freshman for one, and two, that's a big situation. And three, to be honest, from a coaching standpoint, I don't think he should have been. Once it was established that this was Cade's game, he should have been rolled. He should have been rolling. That's it. And
it's a hot hand. Like roll with the
he
hot
has
hand.
a hot hand.
It to me that's easy. Like that's the easy part of this. It's just like Cade's dialed in. Like let's just roll with him. Like I get it. Like the thing is, and forgive me because I don't have their schedule handy, but next week is not the big game. You know what I mean? So next week would be plenty of opportunity to give JJ plenty of reps. Like now's not the time. These are the big games. We cannot mess around with these. You gotta have these. You gotta have them. Like so.
But I see a lot of people using, bringing over there's still a chance, the schedule, refs and all this stuff, guys. This is one of those games where it hurts. It should hurt, and you're just going to have to take it. I don't like this. I really don't. But there's it's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to hurt. And the things that, Desmond and I, we teed up on the pregame on the show on Wednesday, and people, were calling us negative and want to be more positive. It's like, what did I say, Desmond? What would a loss? Well, you asked me the question, what would a loss mean? I told you it would be.
You said it would erase all of the goodwill that Harbaugh has built up in the seven games before.
Because once again, you're having a really good season, beating up on the weaker teams, and there are a lot of people who thought MSU was fraudulent because of their schedule. No, they are real. They are real. And the first real team, we thought Wisconsin would be real, but it turns out, and the way they're playing now, they got their crap together. But the first real team, top 10 team that you played a heck of a game. It's tough, not like you got destroyed. But once again, Harbaugh's on the losing end, and and now you're on track to at tops probably be third place again in the Big Ten East. I mean, it hurts, man. It hurts. And also, I see people talking about all the replays and stuff like that. I mean, it's not, fine. There were a lot of replays and it was kind of aggravating, but it's not like I thought the replay calls were wrong. Like the catch that the play they called a catch for Reed, that was a catch. It was an underthrown ball. Somehow he turned around, he got his fingers on the ball.
Yeah, that was
it's a catch, guys. Yes, it worked against us. It's a catch. The only call in the touchdown by Walker. I mean, it's so many bodies in there. Yeah. It's just hard to tell. And I thought he was in live. I thought live he was in. I mean, it is what it is. Like the only play replay that I think is disputable because I thought it went against the core ideal, which is if you make a call on the field, the only way that a replay can overturn it if it's indisputable evidence. And that was the one replay. I'm like, yes, it is close. And I thought, why am I drawing a blank on the quarterback's name?
The broadcast, Joe
the quarterback. Why am I drawing a blank on MSU's quarterback?
Thorne.
Thank you, Peyton Thorne. I thought Peyton Thorne did a decent job for getting hit from a blind side, keeping the ball as best he could, so it was as close as it possibly could be for it to be ruled a fumble, right? But the play on the field, the play live was called a fumble. Should have been a Michigan touchdown. They overturned it. Okay, like that happens. But yes, Thorne fumbled, but it was close enough. And that's not the reason Michigan lost this football game.
Right.
Let's talk about the many times we're in the red zone. We had to kick field goals.
We talked about it. We talked about it.
Get you beat. I mean, you gotta look internal first. I know it hurts. You want to place blame on everyone else. And I'm not saying some of those points don't have some validity to it, but Michigan also, there were some self-made mistakes too, and you have to accept that, guys. I know it hurts. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Des. I'm passionate.
And the thing is too, like I agree. Like I am more of the mindset of it's an us thing. Like if you go out and take care of business, the referees don't have an impact on the game.
Right.
I will say, I do think that strip sack was a fumble.
Yes,
I think that should
absolutely.
have been a touchdown for Michigan.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got outplayed 24-10 in the second half of this football game when you should have. I mean, traded to go up 30-14 in the second half, and whatever. Let's say that you did get that touchdown. It would have been 30. That would have been 27. It'd have been 34-14. Who's to say you still end up winning that game? Like, yeah, we'd like to think like, oh, for sure Michigan would win that game. But even if I would have told you that you were up 16 points in the second half, you would have told me that we're gonna win that game. Oh yeah. With our run game and the way that Cade is playing in that first half, oh, we're definitely winning that game. Like, and I just, it's just so you just can't turn the ball. Like I said, when we did our halftime show, I had mentioned, if you're Mel Tucker, you're telling your team, listen, we've turned the ball over twice and we're only down by 9 points. We are the better team.
Jeez.
We've just made mistakes. That's probably what he's saying. And maybe he's, cussing up a storm and all that good stuff. He seems like a very intense guy, but nonetheless, like that's the message you have to your guys is guys, you're the better team. You've just made mistakes. That's why we're not winning. That's literally the only reason we're not winning. We are playing our brand of football. We're doing things our way. We're doing exactly what we want to do. We've just given the ball up twice. That's it. Like, that's it. And you'd probably say, yeah, they the first, pick, they got us. In which really in the back of Mel's mind, he's like, no, my quarterback made a dumb decision. But the one with Dax Hill, I mean, the ball bounced off Dax's face mask and just, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a mistake that Thorne made. That's one of those fluke plays that happen in football, and it went Michigan's way. So it's disappointing, man, on just so many levels, because you go up 30-14, and that should be the time where you really you would text me, put your foot on their neck and choke them out, and that's exactly what should have happened. And it just,
but that's the MSU's credit, and people, and I understand, because I'm a fan too. I think some of our listeners right now, when you're hurting the way we are, you want to feel better, right? And you want to hear things that's going to make you feel better, guys. And I think I'm understanding where you guys are coming from. I really do. But when you play games with high stakes like this, and you're on the losing end, it's okay to feel the hurt. You're supposed to. It just is what it is. I'm not saying that everything went our way. It didn't. But once again, I believe this wholeheartedly. There's not a team in this country that plays road games. And yeah, I know, because people they're attacking us or not happy with some of the criticisms, but they want to talk about the refs. I think some people just want to talk about refs screwed us.
Why Michigan didn't get it done, and don't blame Michigan.
Don't blame Michigan. That's what people just want us to do. And I'm sorry, that will be just as honest as like that's no. I'm not a slappy. I'm a fan. I love University of Michigan football, but I'm not going to just. I know that we just can't look at everybody else.
Right.
There are plenty of other reasons besides the refs, which was a factor. But that's
Cornelius
on that
late throw that Cade threw to Cornelius Johnson. You have to catch that ball. Like there's just so many times where you can look at guys that just did not make plays. Like Cornelius, and I believe it was the first play of that last drive that Michigan had.
Yeah.
And Cornelius Johnson beat his man off the line. I mean, beat him to death, beat him like a drum. Yeah. And you dropped the ball. Like, granted, that wasn't a perfect throw by Cade by any stretch, but that was a more than catchable ball. And for Cornelius, you got to make that play.
It was right in his chest.
Yes, it was right in the breadbasket. And I know that Cornelius Johnson isn't one of the top receivers in college football. But I'm sure he thinks of himself as the number one guy for Michigan, regardless of how the season's gone. He's probably thinking in his mind, I'm the number one guy on the team. I just need more targets. Well, guess what? You had a target in a clutch moment, and you let your quarterback down. Like, that's what like football comes down to those things. Is you let your QB down. Like that is what football comes down to. It doesn't come down to refs. It doesn't like I get it, guys. Like, yes, a bunch of calls didn't go your way. A bunch. And I'll give you credit. A bunch didn't go your way. But nonetheless, you still got, the face mask call. You got multiple calls that went your way.
Roughing the passer. Like, so, I thought that roughing the passer call was very, very vanilla.
That is a gold mine. You got a free 15-yard. Now, to be fair, I didn't really dial into the replay, but nonetheless, like
I saw the replay. It was a very vanilla. Yeah, he got to Cade and kind of gave him a slight little push to the ground, but it wasn't egregious. He didn't go near the head. I mean, fine.
And that was in the moment that you needed it. And when you needed a free 15, you got it. You know what I mean? Like and at the end of the day, Dre, we talked about it on Wednesday. You're the better team. You should win. Yeah. You should win. Like that's it. You should win. Yeah. Sorry. Want to get to the comment that we have highlighted, super chat. Thank you so much, Lil Coda. But it says, "Is our season over after this?" Looks like it. You guys want my tickets to the Ohio game? I don't want them. Dre, what are what would be your response to that question? And thanks again, Lil Coda, for the super chat.
No. Because a lot of the Big Ten East games. 7:00 tonight. It's going to be a huge one. There's still some shoes to drop that could aid Michigan. If you're talking about season being over in terms of potentially winning the Big Ten, no, technically not. I mean, this is Michigan's first loss in the Big Ten East, but they're going to need some help. They have to win now, and they need some help. They're going to need this top of mind. They're going to need Penn State to be Ohio State tonight. Then when Michigan plays Penn State, they're going to have to beat Penn State head to head. And then somehow they're going to have to hope that MSU loses at least 2 games, And then when Michigan goes to play Ohio State head to head, Michigan has to somehow get past Ohio State. So that's a tough sledding. But to answer your question, technically no. I mean, they still could win the Big Ten, but I mean that's demoralizing, man. That's tough. That's going to be really tough to bounce back from. Because you know what, Des, if someone asked if K, I think K ended with 350 passing yards. Plus, if someone told us, hey, if K is going to have 350 passing yards, at least 2 touchdowns, you would have been like, oh yeah, Michigan's winning that.
You're winning that game.
Yeah,
you're winning. And then you told me that he threw an interception, but it was late in the game. Like yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Yep.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But that's why these games. That's why they're fun, but that's why they hurt when you lose. It just is what it is, guys. And this is one of those times where we're searching for answers and there's not really any answers, there's a multitude of factors of why Michigan lost, but the main thing that you have to try not to do is just point the finger to the outside and say it's everybody else's fault besides our own. And that doesn't mean that, like I said, it's like a broken record, but I know people don't fully listen to everything you say. I'm not saying that there were not questionable calls. There were, but you have to find a way to overcome
that. At the end of the day, that's not why you lost. That's not why Michigan lost.
No. I thought, like, once again, the direct play that really cost them a touchdown was the reverse strip sack. But here's the thing, how many trips to the red zone did you kick field goals? I mean, wouldn't that even it out?
At that point, you were still. You had already had the 2 situations where you kicked field goals versus getting touchdowns. And to me, I don't know. I'm just I am one that I've always been on the forefront of. Josh Gaddis needs to be better at play calling, and I feel like those 2 third downs that you ran before you kicked those field goals, they were awful play calls. It was no creativity, inside zone, and we're just gonna try to run for 4 to 5 yards on a 3rd down. Like you just against a Big Ten defense, a real Big Ten defense, like that's just not going to work. And to lean on it like that, and just because to me, essentially what you're saying is, hey, we're good here. We're just gonna take these 3 points, man, and we're gonna go back out and play defense. And you just can't have that thought process. Mm-hmm. Like, and we were texting earlier on this week, and I'm just like, man, that 4th and 1 type of, and granted this was different, but the Northwestern, you had a 4th and 1 at the 1 yard line and you kicked a field goal. And I get it. That's Northwestern. That's a team that you're better than. You're gonna beat Northwestern. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to a team like Michigan State, like you've got to take some risk. And I'm not saying 4th and 4 that you should be going for it, because I don't think that. But I think when it's 3rd and 4, you should have a better play call dialed up than an inside zone that you've run 30 times in the game already. Like you've got to have some better creativity. And the unfortunate part is we've seen it in this game. Yeah. Like with the rollout passes, those things were wide open. You had multiple times where you ran a rollout pass for short yardage conversion and you got it. Like multiple times. So it's not as if we have never seen it. Like we literally saw it on the same day. We saw it today. So to just go in the tank and just, on those, and I get it. Football is way more than 2 plays, but it also sometimes boils down to 2 plays. So what? And who's to say you don't, score 2 touchdowns there versus kicking 2 field goals? Like that's a big swing. And a lot of times what it does is the biggest thing is it takes number 9 out of the football game. You don't get to run Kenneth Walker as many times in the second half as you did, because you're down 21 points, 24 points, 28 points. You got to put points up now. Like, you have limited drives, so you put the pressure on the other team. And when you don't do that, you let him stay in the game. And, you see this guy, it's not a wonder or a shock that he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Like, he's good. He's a good football player.
Really good.
So,
but another person needs to be on notice today. When I say on notice, I mean that has to be called down for not having a good day is Mike McDonald. For all the credit that he got, rightfully so, for doing such a good job getting this defense turned around. They really did a good job of exposing the flaw of Michigan being able to substitute in time. They exposed that many times today. It's just, I actually think, look, Michigan put up 33 points, man, and probably should have put up more. I mean, it's going to be hard for me overall to bash Josh Gaddis too much to say, like, man, you really called a terrible game overall. Now, just because I say you didn't do it overall doesn't mean there aren't a few plays here and there that were head scratchers. But we'll see going forward what they decide to do there. I mean, because, look, Gaddis got Cade in a really good rhythm. Cade played fantastic. They found something that was working, especially with the tight ends. So, I mean, I can't just totally bash Josh Gaddis too much. I think his biggest falling is not from the 20 to the 20. It's the red zone. Man, their red zone offense has been just dreadful this year. And whatever package they're using, it's not working. I just and guys, here's what you got to think about too when you think about all the other factors outside of Michigan that led them to losing today. You were up 30-14, middle of the third quarter. Okay, you were up 30-14.
And to address Dre 408, he says Gaddis is not the issue. This is why the fan base is dumb. We talked about on Wednesday. Situational football is not Michigan's strong suit. And guess what? Being up 30-14 is situational football. So go ahead, Dre.
No, it's just it's situational football. Being able to recognize, when a team's getting momentum, maybe a timeout here and there. But I will say this, and you also got to give MSU credit. Like I was so impressed, and I was really today made a believer in Mel Tucker that he's here to stay. As long as he wants to be an MSU coach, they're going to be a huge factor in the Big Ten East. And Mark Antonio was there today too, ironically. Gosh,
he was. Which if I'm Mel Tucker, I mean,
like this is my show, bro. I don't need
you ain't feeling me up a little bit.
You left me for crap, and I got this right. Don't be trying to come here because I got a hype game and all that.
Right, that'd be like Jim it's just weird. It'd be like Jim Harbaugh, like Brady Hoke being there, like year 1. Like, all right, man. Like, hey, man, like you left a mess for me. Like,
don't be trying to come here and open this hype now.
Like, this wasn't the Bob Stoops to Lincoln Riley.
Right.
Like, yo, you got a perfect situation. Like, man, this is a mess.
No doubt, man. But the resiliency of that team And I know a lot of Michigan fans don't want to hear it, but you got to tip your hat to them. The resiliency of that team, to be down 30-14, and everything is going Michigan's way from a playing standpoint. Offensively, you know, they're scoring. They're able to score on you. Case having his best game of the season. At that point, Kenneth Walker, the third, he had a few bursts in the first half.
And Thorne had, no
But Thorne had
touchdowns, 2
picks.
picks.
The strip sack, you're getting in the backfield. He's not really having time to throw. I mean, at that point in time, a lot of us going Michigan's way, and they just kept, as they had like the sign, they kept chopping, man. They just kept coming and coming and coming, and it was like once they made the decision that they were not going to quit, nothing was going to stop them. I mean, offensively, it didn't matter, and gosh, how many times. And this is why you got to also give Mel Tucker a lot of credit to. How many times did he go for it on fourth down, man? And just finding a way to not let his team quit. Mel Tucker, to me, the way he coached today was the definition of coaching to win. Like literally coaching to win. Like I don't, recognizing the importance. They score. They're down with 30-14. They score a touchdown, and instead of kicking the PAT, like, no, we're gonna go for 2.
That was big, man. That was big.
No, not even hesitate, because you know what? We need to make this a 1-possession game now. Like, not kicking the can down the road because things are going well for you. No, we're going. We're coming. We're going. It is never stopping, and you got to give them like a ton of credit for that. And you're talking about a guy who has juice in his program, has guys believing, man. And
and we talked about it. We talked about it on Wednesday, and people thought we were crazy because who had the edge? Question that I saw on Twitter, and I had asked you and Mark of who's got the coaching edge in this game. And I last night was just kind of hanging around and went through some comments on the video, but a lot of people are just like, well, Mel Tucker's never been in a game this big. This is only his second season as being a head coach, and so many other things. And I'm like, I get it, but we have 7 years of data to show us what Harbaugh does against top 10 teams on the road. Like more often than not, it doesn't go well. Like, so, you know what I mean? And I think Mel Tucker has got his guys in a place where they understand, they get it. Like, they just get it. Like, just continue working. Like, they, and it's unfortunate, man. Like, because Michigan had no business losing this game. They really had no business losing this game, and it's unfortunate that they did, because it just.
I can't think of any of these big road games under Harbaugh's tenure when they've had a 2 touchdown and some change. Really, I mean, there was
that big points. Of a lead.
Yeah, they had that big of a lead on the road that late in the game, and they lost. I mean, like they played so well to get themselves to a certain point, and somehow they still found a way to lose. This might be, and I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment. I still think the 2016 Ohio State game is going to be number 1, but this might be the most demoralizing loss in his tenure here, because and I can make a good argument for it, because for one, this is year 2 on Mel Tucker. The embarrassing loss last year, the sense of urgency to turn things around because of this past offseason, all the questions about the program, right? You finally get things going. You have the ideal road game thus far to mid third quarter, and then you still lose. It's like, what? Tip your hat. Sparty owns. They own us right now. They just do. And it is what it is. It sucks, man. I'm not going to look at anybody else, but internally, what we did wrong.
The tough part, man, is so many things went in Michigan's favor. Like, you win the turnover battle. I just don't. It's tough, man, because you win the turnover battle, but then the unfortunate part is when you get in those situations where. And MSU didn't run tempo and hurry up a lot. I mean, I could probably remember 6 or 7 plays total where they ran tempo, but a lot of times they just caught Michigan out of, like, just in a bad spot. Like, when Kenneth Walker had one of those touchdowns, I mean, I think Michigan State was on maybe the 10-yard line or 15. They were in the red zone, but they ran hurry up, and Michigan is trying to like Dre. When I tell you what it looked like from my TV was, it looked like Michigan was trying to do an 11 for 11 sub. It looked like there were 22 guys on the field trying to swap on and off, and Michigan State didn't sub. Like you've got to understand those situations. Like that can't be just an automatic. Like let's go ahead and sub them no matter what here in this spot. Like especially because I would imagine that you've done some game planning, and even if Michigan State doesn't do that constantly, if they do it in spots, like you've got to be aware of that, because that there were multiple times I can vividly remember 2 times where Michigan was totally caught off guard with Michigan State running tempo, and defensively you got a penalty. Like so it just like it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but when it's in those crucial moments, like it is a huge deal, and that goes back to coaching. Like that goes back to situational football when it's like, when the game's on the line, like we get a first down, we understand that they're getting ready to sub, and let's go hurry up and let's try to run a quick sweep and try to get some free yards, and it wasn't even free yards. They got a touchdown. They scored a touchdown on one of those tempo plays, and it just I don't know.
This. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the comments. You guys really want to put blame on the 18-year-old kid? True freshman.
JJ?
I just he should have never been in that situation. After the first
But
fumble,
whose fault is that? That's not JJ. Did JJ sub himself?
That's what I just said. Like, come on, man. He should have never been in that situation. We've all been clamoring for this kid, but you got to keep some perspective here. He's an 18-year-old true freshman. Okay, this is the biggest game of his life. Look, this is big time football. Much is given, much is earned. I understand that, but to a certain point, to put the weight of this game on that kid, man, I just think you're doing him a disservice.
The game wasn't lost because of that. The game, to me, the game was lost earlier than that when you're subbing him in, because you had a quarterback who was playing at a top 5 quarterback in the country level today. Today, Cade would play like a top 5 quarterback in the country. Arguably arguably the best quarterback in the Big Ten today.
Mm-hmm.
He was dialed in. There was no reason to pull him out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to say, well, JJ fumbled it should be his fault. Well, guess who put him in the game? When the guy playing ahead of him is playing well, dialed in, ends up throwing for over 340, 350 yards, like whose fault is that? Like and the unfortunate part is JJ has already shown tendencies to have bad reads in the zone run game. He did that multiple times. We've already seen that happen.
Yeah.
So you continuously to put him in the game, and you understand he has tendencies to have the, I don't know if you want to call it hero complex or whatever you want to call it, just a tendency to make bad reads.
As most kids do his age, man.
This is what happens.
That kid's from the moment we've talked about this off streaming and stuff like that. That he's been pro Gold Blue, pro Michigan ever since he was still in high school. He's been not yapping his mouth, but he truly wants to make an impact. And I feel like a JJ apologist. I just feel like, but the point is that I've seen my fan base. When we get the new kid, new quarterback, we herald them, and then the minute they're not who we think they are, we want to trash them. And JJ really hasn't really even had his opportunity yet. Like his real opportunity to grow. This is your job. Now let's see what you can do. He was put in a few situations today. He did not take care of the football, but there was nowhere near on him. There were a lot of factors, especially defensively. We're not talking about defense enough. Defensively, we gave up 37 points today, guys. 37. Come on, man. Like, it's a multitude of things, and also MSU playing a hell of a game too. And
to address Ben, check out our halftime show, because we both talked about it. There was at halftime, we both felt there was no reason for JJ to be in the game other than you trying to keep a 5-star kid happy and on your campus. So there really was no there. I just didn't feel like you needed to. Just and that's just my thought on it. So could be wrong. Let's kind of. I mean, I guess let's kind of switch gears on what is next for Michigan.
Oh no, Des. Man, the way I feel right now, that's tough to answer. And you try not to get too emotional with it, but I mean, look, the best thing, gosh, that's really demoralizing, man. I don't know. Because
well, it's tough because
from the beginning,
you've got 3 games on your schedule. Like
look,
really,
they're 7-1.
You really
they
have
can
3
win out
games
in
on
theory.
your
They
schedule.
can win out, go 11-1. All you say this all the time. All their goals are technically still in front of them.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean, yes, like Harbaugh cannot let these guys go off the rails here. But I mean, I guess the hard part is offensively, I really didn't think they did much wrong today. In terms of their performance, I thought some decisions were a little bit more questionable, like when to play JJ or not. But I actually thought offensively, I was really impressed, especially with the quarterback play from Cade. No, Rico. No, Rico. I'm saying I'm emotional too. Like I'm just saying, like it's okay to be emotional, but just not to point the blame at everybody else, right? At the refs and all that stuff. Being emotional is okay, but also realizing our own faults and what we did as well. I'm not saying that. I'm with you all the way. Y'all can't see my face right now. I'm really salty. Like, I am hurt. I text Des. I don't even feel like doing the show. Like I don't. But
that was before. Yeah,
dude. It's just. So what's interesting is that I think offensively I really like where we're going. I think defensively they need to address this substitution thing because now teams are seeing that and they're starting to expose us. And yeah, man. I mean, you know what? And it's not one of those games where you go into the upcoming week like, man, we got killed. We got a lot to work on. I think this is one of those games where we made a lot of mistakes, but
I think it's just situations, man. Like it's not
a
even
dogfight. I mean, like this happens. Even as you being a Bama fan. I mean, Bama, it doesn't happen a lot, but you guys have lost dogfights as well. I mean, sometimes you got a big game and you on the losing end of it, but for a lot at stake, and to answer your question, that's what's next. It's just, watching the film, trying to and addressing situational football and making sure guys mindset is still where it needs to be because you at 7-1, we can feel like it's over in terms of winning the Big Ten because we know what's looming over us with Ohio State at the end of the season, but they can't allow it to be that way. And I'll be very disappointed next week if they don't come out. I believe they have Maryland next week. I had to double check the schedule.
Yeah, I think it's Maryland, Penn State, Indiana, then Ohio State.
Right. I'll be very disappointed next week against Maryland if they don't come out locked in and take care of their business. That's all you can do. You lost a tough one. You lost one, but it's terrible. But you gotta move on. Bama has one loss in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? They're moving forward. It happens. So we can feel.
The thing I would do is listen. Let's shower. Let's get back home. And let's go and root for Penn State, because that's that's essentially what you need to do. You need to root for Penn State. Hope that they beat Ohio State, and it nonetheless everything is still in front of you. But that's what you need to do. Like you need to understand. Like yes, this sucks. Like let's sit on this. Let's chew on it. For 24 hours and talk to each other about how much life sucks right now. Because I'm sure it does for them.
It does. It hurts. It hurts.
Because you're coming in this game thinking that we're getting ready to be 8-0, man, and undefeated. Top 4 team in the country. Like yes, we're thinking that. So to go from that to where you are, and there was probably moments in the game where you're thinking that still, like third quarter, fourth quarter, like yeah, we're about to be 8-0. We're about to, you know what I mean, like. Of all the things that are in front of you,
God,
and then to have it kind of pulled back, like I get it, like that's tough, but yeah, you got to come out dialed in, because the last thing you could do, or the worst thing you could do, is to come out and be kind of lethargic against Maryland And we've seen Talia Tagovailoa throw for 5 touchdowns in a game. Like,
Yeah,
so the last thing you want to do is come out next week, you know, lethargic and sleepy, and you know, drop this game, and then what the hell? What if you do win out after that? You know what I mean? You go 0-2 these games, and then you beat Penn State, beat Ohio State, but because you sleptwalk, you know, for a Saturday, you're not going anywhere. You don't go to Indy. You know what I mean? Like, so it's difficult, man. It's difficult. Before I kick it to you, listen, while you guys are all here, please like and subscribe to the channel. We definitely appreciate your support. We've got 322 people in right now, so we appreciate you being here. But yeah, Dre, go ahead and sorry, I kind of cut you off a little bit there.
No, I mean, you know, Mr. Jones said it right. You know, gotta stay positive. Absolutely. You know, like and today there was a lot about today, and so guys, if you haven't realized me and Dez's style, especially my own, you know, I'm not. When I give feedback on his team, I try to be as my goal is to be as down the middle as possible. Because that's how I like to hear things about my team. I don't want to be told how great I am, you know, right? Nor do I want to be told I suck all the time too. I would like to hear about a mixture of what is really going on, you know, and more importantly, when I have lofty expectations, which we should for Michigan at this point in the season, I want to know the things that can hold us back, right? And so as we talk about, you know, the game and trying to be positive going forward, there was a lot that went well, you know, like is Andre, you know, I said Andre Anthony, you know, is he an emerging star for this team?
And Joe Glad had mentioned, he's like, oh, I've got flashbacks of Braylon Edwards. I'm like,
Oh,
bro,
okay,
stop
whatever.
it.
You can't do
Braylon
that.
Edwards was
Don't do that.
6'3",
I know.
220 pounds, the biggest guy on the field, and was
Yeah.
a monster. Now, Anthony, this dude is going to be really good. He's also a freshman, and he's like 5'10", like 180 pounds. Like, let's just chill. Let's chill on that. I think he was trying to just throw a bone to like Michigan fans, like an ode to, you know, like, oh, I know the history of.
I don't need that. I don't need
like,
that. No.
Chill. And the unfortunate part is I like Clyde a lot. Like, but chill. No.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, you know, like no, man. I mean, it's there's a lot, you know. Cade playing his best game at Michigan, you know, his career at Michigan. I mean, you can pull that. I mean, look, Aiden made plays, you know. David Ajabo, you know, had 2 strip sacks today. You know, I mean, like, dude, I mean, there's just so much, man, that you can point to and say they played a really good game overall. Overall, Michigan played a really good game, but so did State, and it was a dogfight, and the better team won. It is what it is. And you know, you may not like the style of the other team. You may think that that the other team does things or we do things better or vice versa or whatever it is. But look, they came out on top. And it's tough. It's tough, you know. It's tough losing to Sparty back-to-back years. Especially when it's not like they're an average team and they beat us today. No, you know, they're still undefeated, and now they're in front of us, right? And we're trailing them, you know. It's man.
Tough part is, man, when you have the better team and you lose, like that's tough, man.
Yeah,
that's tough, you know. And I thought I just, like I said, I go back to situational football, man. Situational football. You've gotta be able to understand the situations. You know, I'll still point back to those 2 third downs, like where you end up kicking field goals. Like, you've got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. But yeah, you know, I saw someone post in the comments that, you know what, why would you root for Penn State? You know, and you need some help, do it yourself. I'm like, dude, we know how this works, dude or dudette. But we know how this works. Like, you know, it's yes, you can win out, and the unfortunate part is Michigan State could still win out, and they would be ahead of you. Like, so, and even if Michigan State gets 1 loss, they're still going to be ahead of you. So, okay, you can have the attitude, the mantra of do it yourself, but okay, yeah, but you don't control your own destiny at this point. Like, so, you know, that, I mean, if you're trying to get to Indianapolis, then yeah, you should be rooting for Penn State, like I just said. but it's tough, man. It's tough because Michigan State's gonna move up. They're gonna move up pretty high, man, because they've got one of the
Wow.
best wins in the in the country.
Yeah. They deserve it,
Um,
man. It is what it is, dude. I mean, like I don't. The way you feel is how you're supposed. We sound like a broken record. This is how you're supposed to feel. I mean, like I don't know what really is next. What next is Indiana. Take care of business against Indiana. Make sure that make sure you shore up. Don't come out lethargic. Take care of business and if handle who's in front of you. That's all you can do. It's what's interesting is that based on today, maybe it was maybe it was just like a flash in the pan. We'll see if Cade can continue to play at the level he played at today. Because if I put it to you like this too, guys, if Cade can play at the level he played today, there's a chance you could beat Ohio State.
Oh, if he plays like that, yes, you
The
got
way
a
he
shot
played
for
today,
sure.
and so like I'm saying, it's not all bad. It just hurts.
Mhm.
But like Cade gave you really not just average, really good quarterback play today. Was he perfect? No, but he was really good today. It's defensively, I think we got a lot to work on. But yeah, man, it's this is how this is how it should be. You work hard to be rated high and have the opportunity and play in front of the whole country, play for a lot on the line. And when you come out on the short end, this is how it feels. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's like you said, you just gotta pick up and keep rolling. I think the leaders on the team it'll be a big week for them. I think
Yes.
it'll be a big week for Aiden, for Ross, Dax, Cade, even and to keep the guys up. Because
Mhm.
it's easy to get to that point. You lost the game and it doesn't look great as far as the outlook, and you get to that point where it's just like, man, I don't feel like practicing. We lost, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like, so it'll be big on them to keep the guys up and continue to practice hard, continue to focus, work hard, lift hard, stick to your nutrition, like those the little things, that got you here. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
I just
What
really
are
don't
what
want to. I know we're gonna. I want outside of this, you're gonna hear local, sports stations, radio sports stations, stuff like that. And I already know it. We're seeing it here. We're gonna see it everywhere. People are gonna keep going back to the refs, and it's gonna bore me and aggravate me because even though I'm not saying it's not valid. It always amazes me how maybe every fan base is like this, but how some people do that. After the 2016 game against Ohio State, people talked about the spot. They talk about the spot to this day as if that was the only
and Joe
play.
Klatt, like, bro,
He
he just
brought
made it
don't
so
go
much
there.
worse. Did you see
It's
him
just like,
on Colin Cowherd's show?
yes, I
Just
did,
like,
dude.
if
Like,
you take
if
that
that
away, he
spot was
was.
different, it's like, come on, man. Like, you could say that for like, it's just yes. Look, in sports, there are going to be questionable calls. Every fan, think about this in a football game or any sport, somebody is going to be pissed on a
Mhm.
call. Okay,
Right.
no matter if it's a holding, a pass interference. If it's a pass interference on your team, you're like, no, it wasn't a PI. If pass interference is not called, you're like, oh, where's the PI? There's always going to be somebody who's not happy, right? That's the whole point of a penalty. Someone's about to be hurt. Okay,
Yes.
like, but you can't. It's not healthy to me to always lean on that when your team loses because it doesn't tell the full story. It's okay to admit when it's a part of it, but you can't just lean on it as if that's the only thing.
Well,
Because
doing that, you're giving your team and your coaches an escape. You're giving them a built-in excuse to say that, well, it couldn't be them not performing to the level and the standard that we as fans want. And think about it. If you as a fan want them to perform at a certain level and a standard, they want to perform 10 times better than that. Like, so, the thing is that that's an easy out. Like it doesn't come it rarely ever comes down to the refs. Like, it ends up being a bad, whatever, a tough call one way or the other, but it rarely comes down to that. Like, in today, you had some tough breaks, like, but you had some go your way too. Like, so let's
yeah,
not make it seem like this was, this is going to be a 30 for 30 in 10 years about, the refs fixing this game. Like, it's not going to happen. You got some tough calls. You had some calls go your way. at the end of the day, you've only got yourself to look at as far as Michigan coaches is what I'll look at.
Can you start this one by Jacob McCannon? Like that's what we're trying to say. Like that's it in a nutshell. You handle your business. You handle your business. You handle your business, and you rise above. It's not. Sometimes things are not going to go your way. I'm not saying it's not a factor, but you finish the game, and you make it as much as possible that the refs can't impact the game. That at least the final result of the game. I always go back to 2016 when people talk about the spot, but they don't talk about the fact that Wilton Spate fumbled on the goal line. On the 2-yard line. No one talks about that. Like it's just,
Or if your running back, picks up a blitzing backer. Are you? So we talked about, before, if Michigan were to lose this game, what that wipes out all the goodwill that Harbaugh's built up. Are you ready to move on from him today?
Look, I don't want to so you're putting me in a conundrum, because you know how I feel about Harbaugh. Look,
it's a question. You didn't feel this way on Wednesday, so I'm asking today.
Yeah.
Today. So tomorrow morning is it Ward Manuel still?
Guys, you can't fire a coach who's 7-1. I'm not saying to fire him today.
That's the question. That's what I'm asking.
No, I wouldn't fire him. Like, do I personally believe he's the guy that's going to help us elevate to the next level? No, people, listen to me. I've never said he's not a solid coach. This is where he's going to go. His best years, we mentioned this in the Wednesday show. His best years, even years he won 10 games, right? Third place in the Big Ten. All right. This is where he's going to be here. Right. I'm talking about to elevate to the next level, to win the Big Ten, right? To really to get this to the where it should have been, right? What you brought him here to be, which is to be special, not just good, but to be special, right? No, I wouldn't fire him Monday because the team is 7-1 and technically all your goals are still in front of you. But have I been convinced, which I already pretty much was today another nail in the coffin that, yeah, he's not special. He's not going to be what we need to go forward to the next level. Yes.
Here's an interesting question. And we've got like just a couple minutes left, so we're getting ready to wrap up here soon. But if that were the case, that he did, and obviously it's not going to happen on Sunday. But if end of the season it were to happen, who would be just one person that you would, in your mind, at least want Michigan to give a phone call to?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough, man. I don't want to just pull a name out of nowhere. I mean, I'll have to give that some thought.
I mean, outside of like a dream, like a Dabo or Saban, like, you know what I mean? Like, give me somebody.
Well, when we brought up earlier this year, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you think you can get Fleck from Minnesota, I mean, I think it has to be a guy who, it has to be different. It can't be this whole Michigan man thing, It has to be a person who's known for injecting energy into a program. Some people said Matt Campbell. I'm not against that. No, I'm good on Lane Kiffin. No, you can keep him.
He's an offensive. He's an offensive mind.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see about that. I don't know.
What would be your resistance to Kiffin? Not saying that he would be my first choice, but
I just think he's a character, dude. Like he's just, I don't know, man. He doesn't appeal to me like that. I think he's a kind of a niche type of coach. He's one of those guys who's, he's really good with offense. I'm not sure if he's the type of coach that's going to create a powerhouse. I want a coach who can take this program and help make it a powerhouse. Help us get to that perennial top 6, top 7 program in the country. I don't know if it's realistic to expect us to be in that tier 1, which is, I know Clemson's having an off year, but which is the Clemson's, Ohio State, Bama, maybe Georgia. That's tier 1. But then you have tier 2, I think, which is the Notre Dames of the world. Maybe you could put Florida, LSU, those teams who are always on the outside of the playoff but really close in contention. I want a guy who can get us to that level, that tier 2 level. And I don't know if Kiffin's one of those guys. I think Kiffin's one of those guys who can go to a program, make it fun, enjoyable, but he's not going to elevate it to a,
Well, who you got? I mean, he's got a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback. He's got a one-loss Ole Miss team. Who would you want?
No, I was saying the quarterback at Ole Miss. I said
Matt
Corral. No, I mean, I this is an cop out. I like Fleck, man. I like PJ Fleck. I like the he. When I think of him, I think of energy, and I think that's what Michigan football needs right now. They need a guy with energy. Who's going to ruffle favor? Yeah, yes, Jake. We can't put that up there, but yes, I feel what you're saying. He's going to ruffle feathers a little bit. He may make you uncomfortable the way he dresses. Some people, but you know what?
Fleck? He ain't gonna make nobody uncomfortable. He wears a shirt and tie.
No, I mean his ways. Like I think it's kind of everyone's not for it, but I like it because I think players play for him. And like I said, I think we need to just shake it up. Get somebody young in here, man, and let's just see what happens. If it doesn't work, fine, but at least try something different.
Yeah, my call would be to Joe Brady. He's an OC, I believe, at the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Obviously it's well documented what he did, at LSU, younger guy. And really there's, and maybe I'm, reading too much into it, but there have been some whispers that Matt Rule is not totally sold at the Carolina Panthers. So he could be potentially leaving. So if that's the case, who knows? Like maybe if Rule left, that Joe Brady would be the head coach of the Panthers. So you know what I mean? I have no idea, but he would be my first phone call. I just think that what he did at LSU and there's a lot of people that say, well, he didn't call the plays at LSU and blah, blah, blah. But I look at what LSU was while he was there, and I look at what LSU is now, who's firing that head coach that won a national championship 18 months ago, and they looked a whole lot different. So that would be my, that'd be my first phone call. Like I said, I don't know if you'd get him or not, but I just think he would be, I think he'd be great at it, but we shall see. Anything else you wanted to get to, man, or is it are we done?
I need to emotionally, I need to recover from this, man. Oh my God, certain radio shows and outlets this upcoming week about to be absolutely insufferable. Oh, Spartans. You got to hear a whole nother year, and that's why these rivalries really suck, man. Because you got to hear a whole nother year of trash talk. And you know what? As Michigan fans, you got to take the medicine, man. They won. But now we got to take the medicine. It sucks. It sucks.
Hey, man. You gotta pick back up, get ready to roll next week, man. It's the Big Ten. There's no weeks off, man. This is no weeks off. We'll see what happens next week, but I want to thank everybody for joining us. Appreciate it. We're at 271 in the chat right now, which means that you guys are pretty upset because this is by far our biggest audience that we've had.
What people want us to do? Like people, I feel like some people are not satisfied. I think some people enjoyed the show today. What people want us to do? What they want us to? God, it's okay, guys. You know what? It's okay. Our guys played really hard. You know what? And all of our goals are in front of us. Yes, we know that. Okay, like we know that. But today sucks, right? We lost.
It does.
We need to talk about how we lost. All right. So I'm sorry that we're not out here just trying to coddle it, like we're babies. Like, no, it's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to hurt. Okay. So suck it up. We're not here to make you feel good. It is what it is. We lost and we're moving forward.
Yep.
God. This gets on my nerves, man. It's like people are like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Don't get mad at us. Get mad at the team. Get mad at it and then what? Would you want me to try to make something up? Like it is what it is.
Dude, if this is right, Michigan lose 4 out of the last 5.
Can you stop? I don't need that right now, Desmond. Stop. Why would you even click that? Why would you even put that up here?
Because it's on there.
Okay, well, Cheryl, what answers are there? Are no answers. Here's what happens. We lost today. That's the answer. The answer's in the final result. Okay. You want a fantasy? Go watch a movie. Okay. Thank you.
I don't think that's how fantasies work, but okay, cool.
Gosh. I mean, what do people
Somebody
want?
put Dre for the next U of M coach.
No, I'm not saying I'm gonna become an expert, but I mean,
No,
for God's
Dre would be
sakes,
too.
it's like people just don't know. Like, it's like, what do you want? Like, you want to get mad at us? You want to get mad at me because I can't make you feel better? Like, this is on the team. This is on the mishaps. Okay, like, what do you want?
Someone put Cheryl's an OSU fan, Dre. So
Like, I just I can't. I can't make myself feel better. I can't make myself feel better. So how can I make you feel better? Okay,
That's
I'm
great.
hurting. Okay, I'm
Rico's
hurt.
hurt. Rico's hurting with you.
Like, I'm playing my. Do you know how? Like, can I tell you, the soul left my body when I saw Kenneth Walker break through that line of scrimmage, and he just coasted into the end zone, 33-30, and I'm like, here I go, Gus Johnson, Walker, he bust through, and then it's just like,
he was
oh,
hyped for Walker. He was excited.
Jesus.
Every time Kenneth Walker hit one, he was hyped,
Oh,
loud, like, oh man.
I just want to like run into a wall right now. Like, it's just I am no, and I gave credit to Smarty. It's just like, for God's sakes, man, and
oh man, I'm watching ESPN right now. They're showing replays of the highlights of the game. Sanders, what an awful so they showed Sanders still doing the little pose, and I tweeted about it. I'm like, dude, at that point, Sanders still had made one catch. I'm like, really?
Okay, hold on,
you make
dude.
one catch and you
That's
do
a
the
big
whole
catch. That was a big catch to go up. It's just,
and it was also one. Be humble and celebrate with your guys, but you got to do all that, really?
Oh my God! Actually, DPJ. Fun note: DPJ did the same thing like 3 years ago at State.
Dude, I know that. I know that's why he did that.
Yes,
because
right.
DPJ did it. But
I know. I can't like it's just,
it's nuts, man. But
no.
you know, like you said, we talked about it when against Northern Illinois, you're going to miss the opportunity of running 2-minute no huddle offense because at some point in the season you're going to get the ball with 5 minutes left and you need to be ready to roll, and they weren't. So here's what it is.
So I mean, so hold on, just like 30 seconds here. So you mean to tell me, here's the really messed up part. It's like we're all emotional right now, but it's really gonna hit tomorrow. Like let it sink in, because you're gonna be watching the other games tonight. You're gonna see the final ticker.
Too. Tomorrow is the first college football playoff rankings too, and
you're gonna see Michigan nowhere in sight, State probably at 5. It's just, oh my gosh,
and they might jump up higher than that. To be quite frank with you, I think Oklahoma's beating. Who is that they're playing? I don't know. Oklahoma's beating somebody pretty good, but
my head
Oklahoma
hurts.
sucks. But Michigan State's got the best win. I mean, who am I missing? Oregon. Oregon's got the best win right now with beating Ohio State. But outside of that, Michigan State's got the next best win. So we'll see. Well, we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
And Cheryl called you out because you said something I think that I thought represented a lot of what I'm seeing in these chats. So I do thank you for tuning in. I thank you all for tuning in. I would need an ibuprofen for this headache that I now have. And I don't know what's good for having your heart broken by your team once again. I mean, I don't know what cure. I do know, but I probably can't say on this podcast right now. But
Bud Lights are good for a headache.
Bud Lights. That's what I was thinking. Bud Lights. Maybe. I don't know what we're gonna do. Whatever, guys. It'll be okay. We'll move forward. But today hurts.
It does. It's a tough one, man. So yeah, Sparty gets the win over Big Blue. So we will see you guys on Wednesday. Feel free to drop a comment, let us know your thoughts, and we will see you next week.
Take care, guys. See ya.
Peace.